Relationship advice. Told my best friend that his brother, my other best friend, was hooking up with his fiancée behind his back. Everyone but who I told is mad at me. There is some history and context to this story and I'll try to provide as much info as I can. Names are changed for privacy. Background: there are 4 main people in this story. Brandon, Roger, and Tony. Roger and Tony are brothers. I grew up with Brandon and Tony and have been best friends with these guys for the better part of 15 years. I got closer with Roger as years went on and have a lot of fun with him. Tony and I drifted away kinda due to living our lives and having our own things going on. Brandon has pretty much always been around. During the thrive of our friendship, Roger was getting married to his new girl who is absolutely awesome. They even have a kid together now. Shortly before their wedding, I had broken up with my longtime girlfriend of 4 years and just kinda gained some confidence to date again. During my time with my ex-girlfriend, Brandon was dating her younger sister. The sister had broken up with Brandon and I and my girlfriend had split shortly after for unrelated reasons. I decided to take a vacation for myself before Roger's wedding and reconnected with an old fling. During the time, I had not been completely over my ex and the new girl knew this, so we decided to keep things slow. At that point, Brandon had been hanging out with my ex-girlfriend days after we broke up and they started banging each other. This tore me apart. I was so angry that he was doing this just after we broke up. I didn't find out right away. Instead, my ex-girlfriend told me and had accused him of violating her. Now I didn't want to believe her, but I also knew Brandon was a scandalous guy who always cheated on every girlfriend he has. He likes to take advantage of the broken girls. I received a lot backlash from people for being friends with him because of that. So, I believed my ex. Things got bad between Brandon and I. So bad we almost fought and police were getting involved. Mind you, not once did he ever say she was wrong, or even apologize to me for doing so. A year goes by, and my ex-girlfriend came clean and said it wasn't true. I immediately apologized to Brandon for believing her. I was a mess, I hated her for lying and I hated Brandon for what he did. Brandon showed no remorse and didn't care how I felt in response of his actions. Even after I apologized. Things got so bad for me mentally I decided to see a therapist. It took some time, but I learned to control my dark thoughts and emotions. Between these crazy thoughts and emotions, and being a full-time student working full-time, had taken its toll on me. Eventually I buried the past and tried to move like nothing happened. Now to the story. COVID happened. I haven't seen my friends in a while due to having a family I worked with and a girlfriend with family, who have compromised immune systems. We try to see friends on a safe level. I would occasionally invite the guys over for drinks and card games. During the time, I introduced Roger and Brandon to each other due to that they never really hung out with each other. Well, this is where things got weird. I would try to see Tony at his work to hang since he worked an opposite shift of mine, or go to his house to watch football games. But during the time Brandon and Roger were hanging out separately as well. That's cool, I didn't care. Only until I would try to hang out with them both and they would start to exclude me from the normal we would do. I had no idea why this was happening. I asked them if there was any reason. I was actually ignored when I questioned them. I got kinda frustrated. I asked again, and I was told I was taking it too serious, and being a pissy about the whole thing. I was so in the dark about why my friends didn't want to hang out with me anymore. I was truly confused and kinda hurt. Finally I just said, screw it. I'm just not gonna entertain this anymore, and decided to stop trying to talk to either of them. Well, during this time Roger had gotten fired from a job we were working at, for stealing and being drunk on the job. We were old friends with the owner, in which our circle of friends would come visit us. When he got fired, the owner informed me that Tony's fiancée was coming in late and waiting for everyone to leave, so Roger and her could hook up. This was messed up in my head. How could someone do that to someone else's own family? It reminded me of what Brandon did to me, sort of. I sat on this information for a couple of weeks. I told my fiancée about it, and she agreed. I mentioned this to Brandon and asked what he thought. He said that it's no one's business and stuff happens all the time. That if no one talks about it, everyone will be fine. This was one of the few conversations I had with Brandon after I stopped involving myself with the group. We ended up getting into a massive argument about what's right and wrong. He was defending Roger's actions, and saying they were fine and he had no problem with it. He also told me not to say anything just to keep the peace. This logic made zero sense to me, so I got angry with him. After a long conversation with my fiancée, I decided it was best for Tony to know what was happening, but to also let him know. People at my work even knew about it. It was bound to come out. I explained to him what we found out, From who, and who was covering it up? Now I have a couple friends who think I'm the a-hole for telling Tony. I lost more than just a couple friends, a huge circle has decided I was the a-hole because I started the fire. Mind you, Tony called me back after digging into it and thanked me for telling him. I'm torn in my head. I believe what I did was right. I don't condone cheating and I'm not going to be a part of covering it up. Now for the top comments. Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Your friends sound like a-holes and people who aren't worth being around. If it were me, I'd probably find another job and ghost a lot of them. I would even be open to switching careers and moving just to be around decent people. That's what my fiancée told me. I work 2 jobs. The second job is where it all happened. I was only there 1 day a week. The whole lot of them suck and made me think what I did was wrong. Just gonna focus on working and planning this wedding. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, those friends sound like infantile dude bros. Get rid of them. Hope Tony cut them both out of his life. If you were in Tony's place, would you want your friends to act like what you did or just cover it up? I'm going to connect with him next week after some dust settles. But hell no. I'm a huge advocate of just telling the truth. If someone screws up and tells me straight up, I believe there's a better chance to mend things. Mend things. Do you really have a thing for being accepted by these people, don't you? They all sound like a-holes, except for Tony and your girlfriend. No, those friends are cut out completely. I don't have time for that. I just want to make sure Tony knows that I'm in his corner. I guess I used the wrong words there. Thanks for pointing that out. Your friends are weak people. Weak of will and weak of moral fortitude. You did the right thing. Never doubt that. You found one true friend out of it hopefully as well, and no one ever said doing the right thing is easy. My fiancée said almost the exact same words. I believed her, and I don't know, I guess I still felt awful. I feel utterly horrified for what Tony has been through. I'm going to try and see him a bit more. He deserved none of this. Now for the last story. Update. Me, 23 female, with my friend, 23 female, she cheated on her boyfriend/my friend, 25 male, and doesn't want to come clean. Original post. My friend, let's call her Sarah, cheated on her boyfriend and one of my good friends, James. I'm honestly flabbergasted since I never expected anything like this would happen. I've met James in 2010 when we both joined the same class. We spent 2 years together in this class but didn't get along too well. We talked, but never met up outside of school. We were friendly with each other, but not friends. We both parted ways and did our own thing. Which happened to be the same thing, again. We spent the next 2 years in the same class once again and actually became friends. We met up outside of school, studied together, etc. In the last year, we both met Sarah because she joined our class. They fell in love immediately, have been together ever since, 4 years, and started slacking in school. I did my own thing, but Sarah and I became friends, too. Nowadays we meet up once or twice a month to talk or watch movies. We usually text each other on a weekly basis. Sarah apparently went clubbing with her best friend, 24 female, who happens to be bi. They drank a lot, went home to her friend's flat and watched some Netflix. Then one thing led to another. What the heck does that even mean? And they started making out. And more. Sarah was on her period so her friend couldn't eat her out, but Sarah decided to eat her out and they basically went all in. She told me all this last night because it was her first time with a woman and she felt weird afterwards. When I asked her when she wants to tell James about it, she said she probably wouldn't tell him at all because he would likely end the relationship. He once got mad when she kissed said friend a year ago because he thought they were making out, although it was just a small kiss. I told her that she should still tell him because he has a right to know. She thinks that it wasn't even real cheating because it was with a woman and if he knew about it before it happened he'd be really into it. She also doesn't feel too bad about it, just weird. What the hell do I do? Reddit. They're both my friends and I honestly want to tell him about it because he deserves to know the truth and decide for himself if this is a deal breaker for him. It 100% will be. However, they've got a big trip planned for next week and will be gone 2 weeks. Do I tell him if she won't? If yes, do I tell him before or after the trip? It's not refundable and he is so excited for it. She asked me not to tell him and I of course said sure, but that was when I thought she wanted to tell him. It just feels wrong not to tell him, but I don't want to be the reason their relationship ends. My boyfriend told me to wait for a bit and maybe she'll tell him then, but I honestly don't think so. She just seems so nonchalant about it. The only thing that really bothered her was the weird feeling about eating out a woman, not cheating on her boyfriend. I'd be so mad if James knew my boyfriend cheated on me and didn't tell me, so I guess I should definitely tell him? Help me, please. Now for the top advice before reading the update. If you don't tell him, you should stop thinking of yourself as his friend. Friends don't let their friends get cheated on and leave them in the dark about it. If you are going to tell him, do it soon. I think it's reasonable to give her the chance to come clean as long as she does it in a timely manner. If you wait weeks and they go on that trip, you risk damaging your friendship. He may feel you held back vital information from him. Hey, thanks for taking the time to comment. I will definitely tell him, even if it means losing her as a friend. He deserves to know the truth. I'll give her one more chance, and if she won't tell him, I will do it. Thank you. You have no indication if she will tell him, you only have an indication that she won't tell him. And she won't because she knows she cheated, she knows he will break up with her, and now she's spinning it, because she doesn't want to lose the relationship. It is real cheating. You gotta make a choice between your conscience and your friends. If you don't tell, your conscience will probably keep bothering you about it for a while, as it is doing now. If you do tell, be prepared to lose the cheating friend because she won't appreciate this one bit. Can't say if you lose the male friend too, but if you tell, he might be pissed at you first, but that is just a first reaction. Do not give it too much value. If you are going to tell, do so before the trip. If you tell after, that trip will always have a black mark on it, and a trip is more expensive than just the hotel and flight. As a last thing, I would tell him OP, and if I was the male I would like to be told. Hey, thanks for your comment. I really think you hit the nail on the head. She knows she cheated and is now trying to spin it. I'm definitely prepared to lose her, and even though I'll probably be sad about it, I don't even want to have her as a friend if she values her relationship so little. I'll text her today and tell her that she absolutely needs to tell him, and if she still won't, I will do it. Thank you. And now for the update. The TLDR of the original post is basically this: my friend Sarah cheated on her boyfriend James, who happens to be my friend, too. She didn't want to tell him because he'd likely end the relationship, and they had a big trip planned. I didn't know if I should tell him. My gut told me yes, definitely, or stay out of it. After I posted here, Sarah decided to tell James parts of the truth and told me to stay out of it. I decided not to do that since he deserved the whole truth. I wanted to tell him in person, but he couldn't meet up because he was at a family gathering or something like it, I don't remember. He called and asked me what I wanted to meet up for, and I told him the whole truth. That she cheated on him with her best friend, that she didn't tell him everything that happened, etc. I was worried she got to him somehow and that he wouldn't believe me, but he thankfully did. I still send him every text I had of her, which was probably incredibly helpful. While I was talking to him, she sorta knew what was happening and drove over to his place immediately. When she got there, he hung up and they talked. She tried to weasel her way out of it, but since he had her texts, that didn't work out too well. Before she came over, he told me this was the last straw, especially since she lied to him about it and made out with said friend once before. I don't know what she did or what she said, but he did a complete 180 and suddenly he was okay with it. I've only talked to him twice since then, and he told me that it's not such a big deal and they'd get over it. They've completely cut me out of their lives. When I asked him why, he said he wanted to wait until his girlfriend and I had a talk and could get along again, which isn't happening, since I don't want to be friends with her anymore. It sucks that I've lost my two best friends, even though I wasn't even the one who messed up, but at least I can sleep normally again. Now for closing comments. You did the right thing. I guess you already knew you would lose Sarah as a friend. It's a shame that James stayed with her, because she is not sorry and will most likely cheat again. But you can't live someone else's life for them. Sucks for you though. Maybe he will come to his senses soon. Anyway, you should start looking for some new friends. Thank you. I will start looking for new friends soon. People seem to always come back around too. The guy is probably in a little denial and trying to make things work with her, but he'll thank you later, I think. The weird thing is that, he already thanked me. When they got back from their big trip, he texted me, told me about the trip and thanked me for being a good friend. He'll believe how big of a deal this is once he catches an STD or she gets pregnant with another man's baby. You've done all that you can/should. He will one day see her for what she is. As for you, you can move on knowing you did the right thing. Now go find some new friends who aren't stupid. Sounds like wishful thinking. The vast majority of people who cheat don't get STDs or pregnant. This happened to me once. I told my close friend that I had known since elementary school that his girlfriend was cheating on him with my other friend's cousin. I had all the proof, texts, screenshots, pictures, everything. I cried in front of him because I felt so bad doing this to him. I wanted him to get away. She found out it was me, things got really bad, she tried to have me hit her with my car. She was crazy. He ended up forgiving her, again, she cheated multiple times. He blocked me on everything. I was devastated. 2 years later, I got a Facebook friend request from him. I accepted. He then messaged me on there and said, "I'm sorry for how big of a douchebag I was when I was under the spell of a succubus. I was wary because I had heard this all before." He then told me all the changes he made and how he was moving hours away to get away from her. Starting over. He has kept his word. He is happy and away from her, and it's been years now. I have my friend back and it's the best feeling ever. He may live further away from me now, but he's happy and that's all that matters. I honestly thought, at the time, we would never be friends again. This girl had him under her thumb and he'd believe everything she told him, like, that a good guy friend just bought her a car because they were friends. Yeah, no. Her kitty bought that car, bro. He was in an abusive relationship. Your friend is in an abusive relationship. Keep that in mind. There may be a day he comes back, maybe for help getting out, maybe to tell you he got away. Either way, while it hurts now, he is someone that is broken. Don't push him away if he comes back. That succubus has a tight grip. They may wiggle free someday. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.